Yo, what's going on YouTube? Alright, this is going to be one of those definitional videos. We're going to talk about standards versus preference. Um, a standard is a requirement that you can hold everybody to. So it really doesn't matter where they come from, what walk of life they find themselves or their background. A standard, you can hold everybody to a standard. A preference is a requirement that everybody's not going to have. That's why it's a preference. An example, if I want a chick who's a certain height or who has a certain style, well, everybody's not going to have that, right? So I'm going to call it a preference. So if I sit back and I'm like, yo, I want a chick who has a certain hair type, or a chick who looks a certain way, or has a certain type of personality. That's more so a preference. Now I can try to pass it off as a standard, but I can't hold everybody accountable. Like, I can't force people to go against what nature has given them. Right? That's just how I am. It's just like it's a preference. Like, you like what you like. You can't really help it. And a lot of women get that confused. They want to throw in money as a standard, but everybody can't be rich, right? You need rich people, you need people in the middle, you need poor people. So for me, I'm going to call that a preference. I would prefer to be somebody with money, right? To be with somebody who has money. Knowing that everybody's not going to meet that requirement. So therefore, I have to call it a preference. I may want to pass it off as a standard, but that can't happen, right? Every chick can't be a certain height. Every chick can't have a certain type of booty. Every chick just can't have this certain personality that goes well with me. So I can only really call it a preference. But a standard is something that you can hold everybody to. So if I say as a standard, I want somebody who's living a healthy lifestyle, well, they don't have to be rich, right? To live a healthy lifestyle, to eat right, to exercise, to eat with moderation, or to do what they need to do to stay healthy, whether it's going to the doctor or doing something, taking your vitamins. Like, that's a standard, because everybody can be doing something. If I want somebody who's generous, that's a standard that everybody can do. You don't have to have money to be generous. You can give your time, you can give your expertise. If you have the money, you can give your money, but you can do something to show that you're generous. Somebody who's, let's say, somebody who's respectful, who maintains a level of composure even when things aren't going their way and stuff doesn't make sense. That's a standard, right? So whether or not you have money doesn't really matter how you react to a certain situation. If you're out in public and something's not going your way, you shouldn't make a scene, right? You can make your point without having to yell. There's a difference between yelling and showing out and being stern and being deliberate and being straight to the point and even being angry. Right? You can be angry in a public setting, but you don't have to blow up and you don't have to act like a fool. That's the standard. Man, what else? We can keep on going forever on what a standard is. But at the end of the day, when you sit down and you're thinking about, what am I looking for in a girl, or what am I looking for in a dude, understand that you're going to have preferences and you're going to have standards, right? And that's key, because we get the two mixed up. Even I'm guilty of it, right? You have to have standards, don't get me wrong, but then you also have to have your preferences. But what a lot of people don't understand, especially the women, is they'll end up with the dude that they prefer to be with, but because they had no standards, they end up unhappy. Same things with the guys, right? We'll get with the chick who fits our physical preferences. They have all the stuff where it needs to be, but because we never developed any standards, right, we fell off the bus. And like I said, you need both, right? You can meet somebody who meets all your standards, to be honest with you, but they may not fit your preference in terms of what you like. That's also reality as well. But in terms of finding a complete person or being in a complete relationship, you have to satisfy both. And most of the time, we don't even talk about standards. We haven't even sat down at the table and created, as black people, a universal standard, right? We all try to pass off our own preferences as if they're standards, right? It goes back to the whole, what's thick, what's fat, what's skinny, what's petite. Like, all those things are nothing more but preferences. We can't make that standard. Because at the end of the day, you can't necessarily hold everybody to that standard. Why? People like different things, people have different definitions, and, nature is nature. But in terms of hard working, now you can hold everybody to that. You can hold anybody to that. Right? You don't have to be, Mr. Perfect or Miss Perfect, right? Anybody can be held to that standard. So anyways, tell me how you feel. Take it easy. God bless.